Hello and welcome to my show Indus Cuisine. I'm your chef Basim Akhund. We're back with another new episode and a new recipe from the heart of Pakistan. Today's recipe is very interesting yet very easy. And it originates from the coastal areas of Sindh and Balochistan. Yes, Sindh and Balochistan are one of the two major provinces of Pakistan, and it shares a very big coastal area, and that the sea that actually touches Balochistan and Sindh is the Arabian Sea. So this recipe dates back to the time when the Portuguese came to the subcontinent as traders, and they came across a lot of seafood that was indigenous to this sea, to this area, or to these countries where the subcontinent back in the day was originated. As you know that the subcontinent consisted of 4 to 5 countries, and after the partition around in 1947, Pakistan came into being. So today's recipe is very easy and its name is Masala Pomfret. Yes, you've heard it right. We're using the pomfret, but in Pakistani waters, you find this form of pomfret, which is a fish which is actually bigger in size and which is towards the grey side. We also call it the black pomfret, and today we'll be doing this recipe. You need a piece of black pomfret which should be around 1 kilo, and what are the other ingredients, I'll let you know. Basically, you need to do this recipe in 2 parts. First part is that you need to fry this fish with some spices on it, and then you'll make this gravy, and then you can serve it with rice or naan bread or pita bread if you like. So what are the ingredients for today? So the vegetables, we have onions, tomatoes, potatoes and green chilies fresh. Then you need some tamarind paste, you need red chili powder, turmeric powder, you need salt to taste, you need ginger, garlic freshly shredded, lemon juice which I'll actually extract from fresh lemons, you need some clarified butter, you need oil, and you need some coriander powder. And in the end, you need some gram flour to coat the fish before you fry it. So all of these ingredients are available easily in the closest market near you. And apart from that, first what we'll do is we'll keep a pan, we'll bring it to heat so that we can add oil, and then we can start frying the fish. But for that, you need to always preheat your pan, remember that. Increase the heat to full, and once your pan is hot, add the oil. On the other hand, what we'll do is we'll start getting the fish ready. I have just put a cling wrap on it. Be a bit careful and try not damaging the fish. I want to make cuts on it, but I'll let you know how to go about it. So the knife I'm using right now is basically a filleting knife, which is used for fish only. I've washed the fish thoroughly, like properly, and then I covered it and I kept it in the fridge. What you'll do is first you'll take a tissue paper. Why? Because you want to dry out the fish completely before you apply any form of spices, masalas or salt to it. Why? Because if the fish is wet, what will happen? The spices won't stick and it won't stay. I've just cleaned out the fish, and before you go, just always once rub your knife on the skin, so that if there is by chance any scale left which your fishmonger didn't take out, you can just be careful by taking it out yourself. This is done. Just keep the tissue on the side for now, and what you need first is you need to cut the tail of this fish. Why? Because this part doesn't have any meat. Some types of fish, yes, they do have meat on the tail. So first I'll add some oil to the pan for frying, and I'll add some clarified butter so that I can extract this nice flavor in the meat. Not too much. You can say just half a cup. So I've actually put oil and clarified butter together, mixed it. Why? Because I'm going to shallow fry the fish. Some people deep fry it also. You can do that if you like. Okay, then I just need a cleaver. I'm just going to cut this part of the fish, and this tail goes on the side. You do not need it. I'll keep it over here. Okay, now what you need to do is you need to make cuts. So this fish, this piece of fish is almost around 1 kilo. You can use a piece which is bigger than this or smaller than this, but remember, when you go bigger, if you go 1 to 2 kgs, the spices, the ingredients will double in size. If you go from 1 kg to kg and a half, you'll actually increase the spices up to 50% more. Okay, so just make equal cuts on the fish till the bone. Why? Because I want the masala to set in and the cuts need to be equal. Please remember that. I will not take the head out, but over here I'll make this cut like this so that the piece over here also gets some flavor. Now make equal cuts on the other side. Always sharp your knife as you go whenever you're doing something with fish or meat. The oil has come to heat. Reduce the heat a bit. I'll keep it on the side for a bit so that the temperature comes down a bit. Okay, this is done. Keep your knife and everything on the side. Now what you need to do is you need a fresh bowl. I'll bring a bowl from the back and I'll keep it here. First, you should add some lemon juice to it. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 lemons. I'll use this board only for now. Why? Because I am just going to make a marinade, nothing else. Squeeze the lemon in. Now when you're making a marinade, you can use the same board, but if you're using vegetables which you will add to the dish, you should change the board, remember that. Okay, around 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, fresh lemon juice. I'll use another one. Why? Because there's a reason. The lemon juice from these 2 lemons was almost equivalent to 2 tablespoons, but I need a little more. This is done. Just dry out your hands first and now start adding some spices. So first we'll add some red chili powder. Then you'll add some turmeric powder. Then you'll add salt around half a teaspoon. Then you'll add a little bit of coriander powder. When this is done, I'll add a teaspoon of tamarind paste and I shall mix it properly. So mix this properly, and now you need to add around 4 tablespoons of oil in this masala. Keep this on the side and start mixing it properly. Fold it. And keep it on the side momentarily. What I'll do is I'll switch the board. I'll just pick this up, keep it on the side, and I'll pick another board and keep it here. Rinse your hands once. Why? I'll let you know. Because now you need some ginger and garlic. So what I'll do is I'll take around 1, 2, and 3 cloves of garlic and around a tablespoon equivalent of ginger. So I'll just finely slice it or shred it, sorry. You always need to know that whenever you're measuring ginger, you use a tablespoon or a teaspoon just to measure it. And how is that? Once you've shredded it, you will compare it to the amount you could actually fit into a tablespoon or a teaspoon. Okay, now I'll take around 3 cloves of garlic. This is done. Pick this up and this goes in the dustbin and keep it on the side. Okay, now this goes into this. So I'll pick up my chef knife, pick it up, toss it in the mixture and mix it up again. Keep this on the side. So So now, after rinsing your hands, what you need to do is again change the board. Why? Because now I don't want cross-contamination to happen. So I'll keep the green board at the back and I'll bring back the seafood blue board in the front. Okay, keep these knives on the side for a bit. And now what you need to do is pick up the masala and start applying it to the fish. Okay, so what I'll do is first, as you can see, there's some oil on top. I'll pour the oil on the fish. Rub it so that it goes in the cuts I've made. So basically when I'm concentrating too much, I tend to speak a bit slow, but it's fine, that's how you should work. Turn the fish, then again you'll add the oil on top. And start rubbing it. So I've given the fish this nice coat. Now why have I added oil onto the fish when I'm actually frying it in deep oil? I'll tell you why. The reason is why, because I shall coat it with some gram flour also, and I need to add the oil so that the gram flour sticks then. Okay, now you'll pick up the paste and now start pushing it in the cuts. I'm taking it slow in front of you because this is the only way I can tell you how to do it, or otherwise I could have just fast forwarded it and showed it to you like people do it. This is done. Now you open the stomach, everything is washed inside. Take some spice and place it inside. Okay, just rub it like this. And now turn the fish. You'll do the same on the other side. Push the spice in the cracks. You want it to be delicious till the core, and that is the only way you can do it, by pushing the masala inside. Just be careful also. Why? Because you don't want to hurt yourself. It's fish. You want to be careful with the bones, remember. Okay, this is done. Now I'll keep this on the side, and what I'll do now is I'll just lift the fish, place it here, take the gram flour, pour it on the board, spread it out and press it a bit, like, massage it. Pick up the fish, place it on top. Firstly, pick up the oil and bring it back to heat and coat it properly. Start pressing it on like this. Now what will happen is the gram flour will help the spices to hold in properly, and it will give it this nice crispy coating. Now ideally what I would have done is, after coating this fish, I would have kept it for an hour so that this flavor, the spices would penetrate to the core. But obviously because we are short on time, we can't do that, and we shall just do it quickly like this. Coat it. As you can see, now both the sides are coated nicely, properly. Now you just have to see if the oil is hot or not. What you'll do is you'll just pick up a piece and throw it in. If you can see it bubbling properly on top, it's ready to get fried. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll add the fish and let it fry for 5 minutes each side on really low heat. So I'll reduce the heat. Until the time this is frying, go for a short break, and once we're back, I'll let you know what to do next. Welcome back. You're watching Indus Cuisine and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. During the break I did nothing. I just shifted this pan onto the other stove. Why? Because we need to make the masala right now. I just gave it around 5 minutes on low heat, and you can see I've just flipped the fish basically. So, and the other thing what you'll do is you'll just bring the oil and you start basting it. So basting is a way of cooking in the French cuisine basically, but if you've learned all these technical techniques, might as well, use it to perfect your recipe. Now what is happening is the fish is frying on that side, but when I'm pouring hot oil on top, one thing's happening. The temperature of the oil is going down, so the fish is not going to start burning, and also that is going to start frying on top, and I'll maintain the temperature also of the fish. So I'm just frying it like this, slowly and gradually, and now give it another 4 minutes. So when this fish is done, what I'll do is I'll take it out and I'll let it rest for a bit. Remember this? So now we do not need this. We'll keep it on the side. And now we shall make the gravy for this recipe. So the gravy shall be made in a smaller pan. Goes here, increase the heat. Once the pan comes to heat, then I'll let you know what to do. Let's take around 2 onions. We shall finely slice these. I've taken out the root. Why? Because we're not chopping the onions for this. Reduce the heat so that the pan doesn't burn. Finely slice the onions. This is done. Keep it on the side. Okay, add around 5 tablespoons of clarified butter. As I've told you, it's a bit cold right now in Islamabad, so you'll see the clarified butter freezing. Okay, on the other hand, just take a look at the fish. You do not want it to overcook. So now you shall baste it again. Once you flip the fish, do not flip it again. Just keep basting it and you can get this nice coat on top. And I love cooking for you guys, I must say that, because I love teaching people what to do. You'll give it another 1 minute. The oil, the clarified butter has melted, so I'll add the onions over here. Just toss the onions, make them soft and translucent. Add around a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Brings out the moisture. Reduce the heat. Give it a lid. And as you can see, the fish is done over here. I'll just baste it once more before dishing it out. So now what you'll do is you'll take something like this, keep it here, and transfer all the oil into that. So switch it off. You don't want to cook it anymore. And just take the oil out. The reason is I'll use it for the paste to come. And this way the fish will also stay hot when I'll give it a lid. So the oil's on the side and the fish is over here. Give it a lid and let it rest in its own spices and its own sauce. I'll keep this on the side. As you can see, the onions are also done, nicely translucent. Now you need to add the spices. Add the turmeric powder wherever the oil is. Add the red chili powder wherever the oil is, and the remaining coriander powder. This is done. Keep it on the side. Mix it up properly. Give it a lid. Reduce the heat. Now what you need is tomatoes and around 2 potatoes. I've peeled the potatoes. First what I'll do is I'll slice the potatoes paper thin. Try keeping them equal. Push these over here, bring the tomatoes over here, and you don't need this part. It goes back there. You want the tomatoes to be chopped finely. So take the eye of the tomato out. This goes in the dustbin. Finely chop the tomatoes. Keep them here. And then we shall cook all of this in the pan. So now the tomatoes are done. Transfer these over here. And cook them on high heat for 2 minutes. Why? Because I want them to break down. So add them, increase the heat to full, add around a pinch of salt on top. Give it a lid for like 30 seconds so that the heat comes up. Till that time, what I'll do is I'll take some ginger, around a tablespoon. Keep the rest over here. Finely slice it as thin as you can. Turn the pieces around, bring them together, and now finely chop them. This is done. Add the ginger to the pan. First mix it up. The ginger goes in. So does the lid. Now you need around 2 cloves of garlic. Press them. Scoop them up. Transfer them. Mix it up. Rinse your hands once. And start pressing the tomatoes down. High heat, keep moving it. And convert it into a nice paste. What I'll do is, I'll just add like 3 tablespoons of water. Not too much. Mix it up. Now, pick the potatoes, reduce the heat for now, and start placing them in the pan. Fill the pan up. And add a little bit of water on top, like around half a cup. Give it a lid and let it cook for at least 2 minutes. But the next part is, I'll tell you, take around 2 green chilies, take the stems out, finely chop them, and toss them on top. So now once you've put the green chilies, let it cook for 5 minutes with the lid on medium heat. What will happen is the potatoes are going to get soft and this gravy will be ready, and then I'll show you how to dish it out. So as you can see, I've dished out the recipe. So the gravy comes in the front. If you want to add the gravy on the fish, you could do that also, but I don't prefer doing that. Why? Because you fry something to make it crispy, to add flavor to it. If you add the gravy on top, the crispiness will go down and will become soggy. So what I usually do is I serve the fish on the side and I serve the gravy on the right. Then in the end, I will just pour a little bit of tamarind paste over the fish. Just a few drops and a few drops on the dish to make it a bit, give it a nice tangy or tangy flavor. Today's recipe is ready. I hope you liked today's recipe. I'll see you in another episode of Indus Cuisine. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.